Hey everyone, I thought I would do another slasher review. I know I haven't done these in a very long time, but I actually got one here that I kind of want to talk about. It's from 1979, and that is called Savage Weekend. And this movie is basically about a group of friends, a group of couples, and one gay guy. And they basically go out to a cottage kind of far away from the city, get away from the city, get away from the hustle and bustle of traffic and everything else. And one of the guys in the group, he's getting a boat built. So they're going to go out, check out the boat, and check out the sights and everything of the countryside. So they go on out to the cottage and kind of mingle with the locals. Some of the locals don't really appreciate them being around, especially the gay guy. A lot of backwoods, kind of hillbilly type of locals that don't appreciate, the flamboyant gay guy, and in most cases, the other group of friends too. They would rather them not be around, and they end up stumbling across a masked killer, and the masked killer basically picks off the couple one by one, and it's a very standard slasher movie in that regard. But this movie is very sleazy. There's a lot of scenes in this movie that don't really progress the story. They're just in there to basically just to sleaze up the movie. You got a lot of almost like burlesque stripping in the farmhouse that really goes nowhere. Doesn't really do nothing, and you got a lot of random sex going on in the countryside. Just weird stuff here. You got one erotic cow milking, which one of the locals kind of reminds me of like a David Hess type character. He's a very sleazy character, and he encounters one of the girls in the group and basically shows her the proper way of milking a cow, but yet in a really kind of creepy way. And you just have to watch this to know what I'm talking about. But basically, the first, I'd say, 50 minutes of this movie, nothing's really going on. There's no real killings or anything like that going on. Not much blood. A little bit of blood from the mouth in one of the scenes. But other than that, it's pretty tame killings. You get a like a knitting needle through the ear of one of the guys, and I think you get a like a bandsaw blade. A girl gets thrown on a bandsaw blade and turned on, but you don't really see any blood or anything like that from it. But yeah, this movie was okay. Definitely glad I checked it out, just because of just how weird and sleazy this movie is. The ending of this movie is actually pretty funny. Actually, it was an ending I'm surprised I didn't actually see coming. When I found out who the masked killer was, it was almost painfully obvious, but I didn't really clue into it till the killer took off his mask, and it was like, oh, it seemed so obvious at the time, but but when I watched it, it didn't seem so. But yeah, this release is from Cheesy Flicks, and it's a pretty decent release. Besides the cover, looks like it's done on like a really cheap inkjet printer, but I assure you, it's a legitimate release. And Cheesy Flicks usually do their movies pretty good. They got one feature which they show a lot of the previews of their releases, but in between of the previews of the releases, they show like really old vintage like theater ads, a lot of like popcorn ads, and kind of like ads you would see in like a really old retro theater. But yeah, that stuff I always think is pretty cool. But yeah, nothing much new to this movie. I'd say check it out for something new, but I wouldn't expect a whole lot from it. Definitely doesn't really add anything to the slasher genre. If anything, it's just, like I said before, it's pretty sleazy, and it's worth a watch if anything. But anyway, that's my review, and hopefully I'll get some more videos up. And so yeah, so stay tuned, and thanks for watching.